Hello, everyone. Welcome to our 12:30 session here at NUGGET 2021. This session will be the Retrace Roundup covering the what, why, and woe of Netreo's APM tool. In this session, we're joined by Netreo VP of Customer Success, Megan Amos, as well as Gennie Cheatham and Kyle Jackson from the Netreo support team covering Retrace. It's sure to be a great session today, and the team is here live, so if you have any questions for them, please feel free to ask them using the chat section on the right-hand side of your screen. So with that, Netreo team, all systems are go.
Hey everybody, welcome to Netreo's Nugget session about Retrace. Retrace is the recently acquired Stackify APM tool, and today we are going to talk you all through the Retrace product, learning kind of the ins and outs of the tool, the benefit of the tool, and maybe some tips and tricks on how to get it working if you choose to go ahead and do a demo of the product. My name is Megan Amos. I am the Vice President of Customer Success here at Netreo. I have been in the APM space now for almost 5 years, and I came to Netreo as part of the Stackify acquisition. So back in April of this year, Netreo acquired Stackify. We are an APM tool based out of Kansas City in the US, and we have been really perfecting application performance monitoring since early 2015. We bring over 1,000 customers to the Netreo customer base, and we are really excited to talk to you about our tool, our experience joining Netreo, and all about APM. So like I said, I've been with Stackify since 2017. I was our customer success hire #1. And I think it's a really interesting journey because customer success at Stackify is a technical vertical. My background is in engineering. I can write code. No one wants me writing code. If I'm writing code, something's going south. But it's really helpful to have an engineering background because our product is so technical. And it makes sense that the customer success vertical is technical. We want to make sure that whenever you talk to anybody on our customer operations or customer facing teams, that they can dive into the weeds and get things handled for you in a really quick manner. So when I joined Netreo, I had the privilege of overseeing their customer vertical as well. So I oversee all of the support, this professional services, all training, and customer success. So anybody that is customer operations facing is in the customer success vertical, which is also maintained by a really awesome director of engineering operations. I think is his fancy title. Brian is the director there, and he is doing another session today on tips and tricks on the Omni Center side with Netreo. So make sure to check that one out too. So our entire vertical is technical, and that is a choice by us to make sure that we can always be supporting our clients. And one of those choices on the Retrace side of the house is also around our response times with my amazing, if I could speak, technical support team. So I have a team of engineers who support Retrace, and 2 of those engineers are joining me today. So we will start with introductions. Kyle, do you want to go ahead and go first?
Yes. Hello, everyone. My name is Kyle Jackson. I am a developer support engineer here at Netreo. I've been with Stackify Netreo now for about 2.5 years. I enjoy being a part of our customer support team because I enjoy helping customers answer questions, troubleshoot the issues that they might have in their Retrace account or with our other tool prefix. I also enjoy getting on these calls and handling trainings and helping customers through different questions and learning the tool and how to dive into their APM and other information. The acquisition from Stackify to Netreo has been pretty seamless, I would say. They share very similar cultures and environments, a lot of hardworking people trying to make the best product possible. And it's been fun. So I'm glad to be here today. Hope I can provide plenty of insight into Retrace, get you some more information to help you make educated decisions on how to properly or more expansively monitor your applications.
Awesome, Kyle. Thank you so much. I also think it's nice to point out that we're all currently remote. We are a remote first company. So I guess a disclaimer that if you hear dogs or a doorbell or any background noise on us, we are all recording and giving our sessions from home. So, and I know both Kyle and I have kids. I have a teenager who is back in school now, thankfully. So we won't be popping in during our session, but Kyle also dad life going on in addition to being an engineer during the day.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Running around, but they're luckily at school also.
Yeah, very good. Awesome. Thanks, Kyle. Next up, I will introduce Jenny. Jenny, you want to go ahead?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Jenny. I have been with Netreo for a whopping almost 3 months now.
Yeah.
So I'm going strong. And I can't relate to the kids'
That's
situation at home. I think that's fine. But I'm excited to be here and have really enjoyed getting to know both Kyle and Megan, being a part of the customer success team for a company that truly values their customers and wants to put the best product forward. So I'm happy to be here.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us, Jenny. Yeah, I mean, if you just graduated from college, it's okay that you can't relate on the kid front. Do you want to tell us where you went to school and what you got your degree in?
Yeah, I graduated in May from the University of Puget Sound, and I have a bachelor's in computer science. So I have a technical coding background and have enjoyed using that to help support customers.
Awesome. Thanks for joining us. We have other members of our support team as well on the Retrace side. So if you submit tickets to our support queue or you end up on training calls with us, you could also be with Jimmy, who is our outstanding lead here in Kansas City, or you could be working with Mark in the Philippines because we do have an international presence since our customers are based all over the world. So let's talk APM. I think we learned early on when we started training for Retrace that sometimes not everybody is even familiar with what APM is. So we're going to start with the basics. What is APM? Why is it beneficial? How does it help me do my job, right? So one of the focuses of Retrace and how we are different than the Netreo common offering is Retrace really goes after deep dives into applications. So when we talk APM, we are talking application performance monitoring. So Netreo's core product will monitor infrastructure and help with DevOps and do different routes than Stackify does, which kind of makes our acquisition make sense, right? Different pieces of the puzzle so we can provide the best overall monitoring applications and products in the market. So Retrace is heavily focused on applications, logs, and errors. I get asked frequently, what is it that I do during the day? And for my non-technical friends or people in my life or my family, it is a bit of a stretch to explain what Retrace is or what does APM mean. And the easiest way I've been able to figure out what that means is using my own body as an example. If I get sick and I need to go to the hospital, I can sit on a hospital bed and a doctor and a nurse and whomever can hook me up to a bunch of machines that can tell you what's going on inside my body. I didn't need to prep for that. I didn't need to do anything special. They were just able to put a pulse ox monitor on my finger or check my heart rate or take my temperature. We do that for code. We can do that for your applications. We can tell you where things are going south, where your application is not performing at ideal standards, industry standards, standards set by you. And we can really give you all the ins and outs or the health of your application. So that is the easiest way to explain it, that we are kind of like healthcare for software applications. And that tends to get people like nodding. It took me a few iterations of that story to get it right. But once light bulbs start going on, I was like, okay, I think that's a decent explanation. It took me a couple of weeks, but that's okay. So we do healthcare basically for your applications, and Kyle is going to walk us all through the Retrace Demo environment, which you can find on our website, and we'll show you that at the end so you can take a look around in our sandbox environment. And we would really, I think the whole goal of this talk today is to just show you the benefit of how that would work in one of your environments. A common term that you will hear in our industry is a dumpster fire, right? We've all been on the phone at 2 a.m. or getting feedback about a bug or a feature in an application that you didn't know was there, or it's a deployment that didn't go quite as planned. So our product can help you figure out dumpster fires and really help quickly. An easy example of that, my favorite customer story is we have a public bike sharing company that uses Retrace, and they installed our trial. All of the bikes in Rio de Janeiro for them were down, and they installed a trial of Retrace, and within 10 minutes found out they had a SQL problem in the database, that the ID on the bike wasn't matching the ID in the database, so no bikes were getting unlocked at all. And the minute they were able to fix that and figure it out while utilizing Retrace, within 10 minutes and during the trial, they had all the bikes back up and running. So we're able to give really good insights really quickly, point you at what's going wrong, and or maybe sometimes what's going right. Like, I don't feel like everybody uses it for that all the time, but you know, it's there too. But it is a really helpful tool in being able to troubleshoot. Kyle will walk you through the benefits of it showing errors in logs and APM information all together. And with that, Kyle, do you want to kind of take us on a bit of a demo journey with Retrace?
Definitely. Thank you, Megan.
Awesome.
So just as Megan explained, Retrace is really intended to help you keep track of what's going on in your application as it's running in the real world environment. Now, that doesn't mean you have to limit your use of Retrace to specifically apps that are running out on the internet. If you're testing apps in your own development environment, Retrace is helpful with that too. It allows you to fix those issues before you even get it to the real world or out in production. That is one of the largest benefits, is being able to test your app, find those problems before you put it out there for your customers to begin using. And then when those issues that do pop up in your normal everyday operation of your application do happen, the hope is that your setup with Retrace is going to allow you to catch those issues before they become a more widespread problem or even customer reported problem. So just to take you kind of through Retrace, get you some familiarity with it. There is a lot to this tool. I'm going to try to keep this as brief as possible, but to get you the most information as I can. When you first log into Retrace, you'll see this big blue bar right here. It's just web apps. These are where all our primary web applications are going to live. If your application is handling normal web request traffic, it lives on this dashboard. Now, each of your applications can show up however you need them to. As you'll see in these first couple of apps, Spring Pet Clinic Sandbox. That's your application name followed by the environment name that you specify for that environment within Retrace. Now, this gets a little confusing at times between your normal environments, whether you in your company use production and dev and test. This is more of a Retrace specific environment naming, but it helps you decide how your applications show up and to which environments they're reporting. Now, Retrace is able to profile several different programming languages. We support .NET Framework, .NET Core. We also support Java, PHP, Python, Ruby, and Node.js. So any one of those 6 languages, you have options within Retrace to begin profiling so that we can get APM reporting back to you and give you as much information of what is happening in your web request traffic as possible. On this web apps dashboard, you see just a small bit of that information that's able to be reported. You'll notice on the left side, you see the app score, and we're going to list out an app score based on a series of different categories that we grade using an app score index within your app on how that app performs, on how many requests per minute and errors per minute come from that application, and other information. Those 4 different categories are combined together to grade out to a specific overall grade for your application that you can then use to help you guide your efforts to improve an application. You'll notice these first couple are B's, A's, but then we hit a D. To get more information on how that app scored, you just click on a grade. That detail will be pulled up for you, and you can read through those different categories, get more information on that specific grade, and then use that as targeted information to improve the app overall. Next, you'll get just that name and environment again, what type of application we're looking at, how many instances are you monitoring of this application with Retrace? And then we're going to get some basic APM information. What are the requests per minute that we've handled for this .NET Core Music Store app? We picked up 509 requests per minute over the last full minute. The satisfaction is, what satisfaction are your users getting from the requests they make to your applications? Satisfactions we grade on a sense of how quickly they loaded for your user. Were they fast? Were they slow? Did they fail? That all correlates back to satisfaction, and satisfaction is one of those categories that correlates back to your overall grade. The error per minute, this is just how many errors per minute were profiled by the APM over that last full minute. And then what features are in use for your application. In the case of .NET Core Music Store, we're getting error information, logging information, and APM. The alerts category, this just tells us whether or not any monitors in Retrace have triggered an alert based on thresholds that are configurable by you. You're able to choose the different thresholds and information that will trigger these monitors. And those are spelled out in, excuse me, in how many alerts have been triggered and what level of an alert has been triggered. That first yellow box that you're seeing, those are warning alerts. You'd also see orange for critical alerts or red for outages. Now, to get into APM kind of quickly here and show you what APM looks like, we just click on the name of an application, and that's going to open us up into what we call an applications dashboard. So you'll see that name of the app that you're viewing. You'll also see the dashboard thrown in there. You'll hear us talk about in the support queue, your web app dashboard or your application dashboard. That is what we're specifically referring to, is that name that you see previous to dashboard when you're viewing Retrace. Now, within an applications dashboard, you've got several different pieces of information that you can view. The first tab here is called the dashboard tab. This is just an overview of the health, the performance, and error information that's been collected for this application over the last 4 hours. Now, the last 4 hours is a time frame that we view by default, but you do have additional options for information that you can view in Retrace. We have additional presets, last hour, last 24 hours. You can view the last full day, as well as the last 7 or last 30 days of APM and other information for this application. But last 4 hours is going to be the default that you see because we believe it gives you the most up-to-date view of what is going on with your application right now. Now, the next few tabs are different information, again, that you can view for this application. The monitoring tab is just monitoring specific information. If I wanted to set up a request per minute monitor to apply to this application, that I could then use to kind of monitor how many requests are coming in. Are we going up? Are we going down? If we fall below a specific threshold, I can get an alert based on that monitoring information. If I know that less than 10 requests per minute to a specific app means I've got a problem, I can set up a monitor to let me know when that happens so that I can head off that issue before it becomes a larger issue for my customers. The next tab is performance information. Now, this is kind of really where the bread and butter of APM lives within Retrace. This is where all of that profiled information is being, excuse me, being reported to the Retrace UI from the agent that's installed on your server that we're using to monitor the application itself. You'll notice you get a few different charts right off the get-go. The server breakdown is just a breakdown of the performance, the different pieces that are happening on your server that are handling up the requests made by your traffic. The client breakdown, this is part of our new RUM feature. RUM being your real user monitoring. It's going to give you some information on client-side information that's occurring within your applications. Now, RUM is an additional configuration. It takes a little bit more to set up, but it is something that is available to you in Retrace and does provide a lot of additional insights to just that server-side information. The last graph is going to be for user satisfaction. This boils back to that web apps dashboard section for satisfaction and how the requests that are being made to your applications are performing for your end user. Again, we look at these on a series of, are they fast? Are they sluggish? Were they slow? And did they fail? And all of that information is being calculated on a defaulted 2-second goal time. But again, user satisfaction is somewhat subjective to what you need for your users. So in this case, in our app scoring system, we allow you to customize that goal time to fit your specific needs. Now, below those graphs, you're going to get some actual reporting information for that APM data that's being sent to your account. Again, we have an overview tab, and this is what we like to refer to as the top fives, your top 5 requests, your top 5 SQL queries, or top 5 external web service calls that are being made to your application. This is just a quick snippet of the information that's available on the following tabs of information in your APM. Now, again, your client requests, that's all that RUM data information, the real user side where we're getting client information like browser timings and other information. That's what client requests is referring to, but server requests are the requested actions and how they're performing on your specific server side information. Now, your server requests are going to list out specifically by the requested action that is occurring in your applications. If you look here below, you can see we've got some different gets that are happening as part of our demo application that we're monitoring as part of the Retrace sandbox. You can see the number of total requests that have been made to that specific action, and then how those requests performed over that last 4-hour time period that we're viewing. Now, there's a ton of different information that boils back to that APM data. Just a sample of that information includes the percentage of time that these requests take, the average time they take to load, the satisfaction they return, and how often they fail in a percentage. You do have some additional information you can add to your APM view, whether you want to see database calls, your queue times, or Redis times. All of that information can be changed and updated to what you want to see as part of your reporting. The next category is your SQL queries. What SQL calls occurred as part of those requested actions, and how did that SQL perform? Now, within Retrace, you can view those actual SQL calls.
I'm having a real demo moment here.
Yeah, there's no SQL.
It's all good.
Within.
You're good.
This right?
Yeah, you're
Okay,
fine.
good. Let me get the giggles out here for a second.
That's good. It's a real demo if you have something that provides the giggles for you. It's like, well, welcome to tech.
All right. In this case, our application hasn't processed any specific SQL calls over the last 4 hours. But to give you a little bit more information about how Retrace reports SQL information, I do always find it very important to point out that in Retrace, when you do have SQL calls that get reported, we're only going to show you the column names that apply to those SQL calls. Now, the reason we do that is to protect your data. The last thing Retrace or Stackify or Netreo want is for someone to get a hold of your information, be able to view that SQL information, and to get sensitive information. That is not a secure environment. That is not what Retrace is all about. Therefore, we mask your SQL values by default. We show you only the column names, and it's not something that is changed or something you have the option to change within Retrace. Again, it's for security reasons, and it's very specific that we want to protect your data.
Yep. And Kyle, that's an awesome point. I think one of the things to point out is even though we just do and show the columns, it's obvious when you are having a SQL problem. Timing is one of the #1 things that you will get out of this dashboard in particular. Okay, the SQL query in particular, every other time is taking 35 seconds. Why? And we don't have time to show you on this demo, but you can drill down into those specific SQL queries, see what piece of that entire trace of the items is having an issue. And that's where you're able to figure out either your IDs don't match on bikes or that you are in an infinite loop of sadness trying to pull data from your database. We've seen that frequently. But yeah, I think SQL queries are one of the easiest places to find an instant win in Retrace and in one of the first times that you load it and look for things to fix within your application.
Definitely. I agree 100%. Yeah. It's not always important to have the values so much as the timings for what's going on in that specific call that are going to help you either resolve an issue or improve overall performance.
Yep. Kyle, we're going to have to move quickly through the rest of it. And I know our product is so robust, so I think how to do all the things is not going to happen. But I think it's worth noting quickly that we can also bring in errors and logs. We don't need to show it, but talking about the benefit of that really quick.
Definitely. Errors and logging and Retrace. We're able to profile the errors that are happening in your application as they hit as traffic hits your app. Now, the error and logging information can be very useful in IDing issues that are slowing your application down. We're able to track those errors, give you some historical information for those errors, how many times they're happening, when they're happening, but we're also able to give you the corresponding log that goes with those errors. Now, in addition to the APM of the agent that's installed on your server being able to report those errors to you, you're also able to send those errors and other application level logging to Retrace using logging frameworks and a logging config that's very simple to add to your application to get you connected to the Retrace logging API and get that information sent to Retrace so that you have it in one central dashboard next to your APM where it's searchable and you're able to kind of filter through things and start tracking down those issues. Yep. Now, logging also offers you options for sending automatic logs, collectors, from the agents that are installed on your machine. So if you're a Windows machine and you're interested in reporting your IIS logs or Windows apps and service logs from your server to your Retrace account, we can collect those logs as well automatically from your server with just one click. So there's different options for reporting logs and error information to your account. And there's also different types of log information that you can send very easily to your Retrace account as well.
All the things.
There's all the things. And I could talk about it all day long. And I've spent several training sessions talking about it. Yeah. There's a lot. There's a lot. And it can be very, very helpful in numerous situations.
Agreed. I think one of the benefits that you hear the buzzwords, I should say, single pane of glass when you talk to a lot of tools. And in all honesty, Retrace provides a single pane of glass for a developer who's in the middle of a dumpster fire trying to figure out everything that's going on, because to correlate APM data with logs, with errors, all in one place for you. You don't need to be up at 2 a.m. trying to remember your password to get into every single application that you have so you can try to stitch those things together yourself. We provide that all in one place. And for us, that is one of the main differentiators of Retrace, is that it's all right there. When you view a SQL query that's long, if, like Kyle mentioned, if it has a log with it, it's right there in line. You can see the whole story that is happening and hopefully fix it pretty quick. So there are a million benefits to this product in a lot of environments. And Jenny, I'm going to use this point in time to ask you our #1 question that comes through the support queue. When people go and start a trial with Retrace or download it and try to get it started, the #1 ticket that we get is, hey, I don't see my APM data. Can you talk us through some reasons why that might happen, or just other tips around getting APM data flowing into the account?
Yeah, so as Megan said, the number one ticket that we get is you've downloaded our tool, you've installed it, and you log on to your dashboard and you don't see any APM data. So the first thing that I would say is it takes time for that traffic to upload onto our UI. So I would give it about 10 minutes after you've installed the tool before submitting a ticket so that you give it a chance to have data show up on the UI and be able to see it. The second thing that I would say is that you can only have one profiler installed at a time. So if you are coming to us from a competitor or you have our other tool prefix installed, you can only have one profiler in use at a time. So you're going to need to uninstall that other tool before installing Retrace in order to be able to utilize it. The last thing that I would say is that Kyle talked about how there's a huge advantage for using Retrace for like your own application in a development environment. So applications that are not in production quite yet. Now, sometimes those applications don't have steady traffic flowing to them. Therefore, there is no APM to profile. There's no traffic to profile. That's why you're not seeing anything. So ensuring that you have 10 to 15 minutes of steady traffic flowing to and from the app so that we then give it a chance to show up on our UI are a few of the very common troubleshooting steps that we walk our clients through.
Absolutely. I think, yeah, having to ask a developer like, hey, is there actual traffic to this application currently? I think is one of those moments where the developer on the other end is like, oh man, okay, so sorry. It's okay, that's okay. Your brain's busy. So thanks for walking us through that. 30 minutes is a really short amount of time for us to be able to show all the benefits of what Retrace and APM can bring to your company, your side projects, whatever the case may be. But at any point in time, we would be happy to talk to you about Retrace. Netreo is an exciting offering with infrastructure monitoring and APM monitoring. And if we could answer any questions for you, we would love to. The ways to contact the support engineers is easy. Support@stackify.com is how you submit a ticket. You can find that within the application. You can also just send an email straight to them. Yep. We also have a documentation site that you can find at docs.stackify.com. It will walk you through all the getting started guides, how to get APM up and running, how to do log collecting, all the things are documented there. You can definitely go through those. We have, and I know Kyle won't have this pulled up, but we do have a YouTube channel as well with quick 2-minute walkthroughs on how to get a lot of those things handled. So you don't have to submit a ticket. If you would rather try to go down the rabbit hole of fixing it yourself first, as most devs do, that is an option as well. So all the ways to get a hold of us, all the ways to get through our documentation. And finally, we welcome feedback from our community as well and are constantly looking ways to improve Retrace and what we do. We have an ideas portal, which is ideas.stackify.com. And you can see all of the ideas that have been submitted for our tool, all of the items that have been voted on, and things that we've implemented based on our customer feedback. So always happy to take feedback from our customers and hear what we can be doing to better serve your APM needs. With that, we are at our time for our session. So we welcome any feedback or questions that you might have for us. Kyle and Jenny, you knocked it out of the park. Thank you so much. I appreciate you and all that you do for our customers. I'm kind of biased, but I think we have the best customer facing team out there. And enjoy the rest of your day with NUGGET. Thanks for joining us for our session on Retrace.